So in last week's crypto market, we are still on a consolidation phase in Bitcoin price action. In my last video I said that we could potentially be in a bear flag, and if this were to break to the downside, we could actually go all the way to 6,000. In terms of altcoins, technically speaking, we could still go down in the Bitcoin dominance, but fundamentally speaking, there's not a lot of reasons why altcoins should outperform Bitcoin. And in last week's crypto news, Telegram's hearing is postponed to February 2020. Fidelity rolls out crypto custody service. BitMex CEO says that the Bitcoin halving might not lead to a bull market. And apparently Satoshi plagiarized Craig Wright. So, if you're curious about it, just chill and keep watching. Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Patrick and welcome back to the Cheeky Entrepreneur. So guys, it seems that during the past week, bears have been in control, and the more I'm thinking about the charts, the more I'm analyzing with technical analysis, the more reasons to be bearish I see at the very least. And I just want to explain once again, because if you have been watching my YouTube videos in the past couple weeks, we already know that we broke actually this bearish structure, this descending triangle. Of course, everyone did talk about that, and we all know that we are kind of entering this bearish structure, this potentially bearish trend right now. And I did mention in my past video that we could potentially be looking at retesting this resistance, which initially was support all this way along. And again, this is a key thing in technical analysis. All resistance or all support becomes new resistance in this case. So after retesting that several times, not only once, 2, 3, 4 times, and we finally broke it, now it seems that it will be a strong resistance ahead. And this is one of the reasons I'm starting feeling more and more bearish towards this technical analysis. And of course, I'm not saying that we are not gonna go up, because I am still waiting to see if we can actually go up, retest at least this potential bear flag, which I think it could be a good opportunity to short. But still, I want to see if we can actually go all the way to this resistance box around 9K, because it's definitely gonna be interesting to see if we can actually go there, if we are actually in a bearish trend. Now guys, I want to signal exactly what I'm taking a look at, and my technical analysis have not changed since the last video. Of course, we already talked about this potential bear flag, and we already know that if we were to break to the downside, we could potentially go to the 6,000 level. And also something that I want to highlight that I did mention in the past video is this potential EMA cross, the 50 and the 200. And before the 50 was around here, up here, and that's one of the reasons that I thought we might still go up, we might still retest this. But the more time we are in consolidation, the more time we give for this EMA to actually go down, and it seems that at this point a cross might be imminent in potentially the next 1 or 2 weeks. And this is very bearish, at least in my opinion. And I still think that we could push once more, but at this point, because of not only this potential cross, because of this flag formation that we are taking a look here, and also because of the strong resistance here at the 9,000 level, which became which should theoretically become a very strong resistance. And guys, even if we take a look at the daily rebound, we see the same. Of course, you already know that this is a very good indicator just to see where is support, where there is resistance. And of course, since we started this parabolic move to the upside, we have been seeing that as well here in the daily time frame. It has been a strong support all the way back up, but now that we have top of basically around here, we see that we have entered this consolidation phase, and this is what I've been talking about during the past couple weeks. And in my opinion, this is very interesting, and it's very important because it seems that we have broken this consolidation to go to the downside, and this is the reason why I'm bearish, and this is also the reason why this second consolidation phase might be more bearish than bullish. Well, in any case, I just don't want to show the bearish, because I do see one bullish sign, and I have been mentioning, I also mentioned it in the last video, is this potential bullish exaggerated, the divergence that we see. The RSI is going up, but the price is still stable here at this level, and this could potentially mean that we will have a bullish movement to the upside. But in all honesty guys, even if we have this move to the upside, I doubt that we're gonna be able to break this resistance, and if so, I'm gonna be waiting until it comes around this level, because it seems that it's gonna be a very good opportunity to see if we actually break to the upside or if we go back down. Because if we go back down guys, of course you already know that we are between the 0.382 and also this 0.5 has been a strong resistance, and we have not even tested the 0.618, which I think if we do, we are definitely gonna break it right now. And one of the reasons I'm very certain about this is because this has been a very strong support, it seems. And if we were to break to the downside, and having into consideration this bear flag, I don't think that the 0.618 in this case will actually hold. And now guys, if we take a look at the 4-hourly chart, of course there's not a lot of movement because we have been in this consolidation phase, but what I would like to highlight right now is that we actually had the opportunity, or the bulls had the opportunity, to actually go up from here, because we see that after this downfall we basically entered this consolidation phase, and this is basically the bear flag that we are currently in. But we see that with the rebound we actually broke to the upside around here, and this was the big opportunity to not actually retest these resistances, but see if we can actually go to the upside. But of course it seems that as soon as it entered this resistance box, the price went back down, and not only that, it did not find support once again here in the rebound, and it went even back down below it, and then we see that it follow up with some resistance once again. And guys, even if we zoom a little bit on the charts right now, you will see how these have been a strong resistance, and it's still a strong resistance. So if we take a look not only at these indicators but also at the RSI and the stochastics, it might be a possibility that this is the point that we could actually break to the downside. If we go back to the daily chart, of course we are almost around this area, which is the bottom of this flag. So I think in this next week what we could actually see is either we break to the downside and we actually get to that support at 6k that we have been mentioning before, or we actually go back up to retest all this resistance. And this is gonna be key when we do it, because guys, also take into consideration the volume. After this a downfall around here, after this sell-off, the volume has gone down, which you know what that means. When the volume goes down, the price action and also the markets are preparing for a big movement. And guys, just to end today's technical analysis, I actually want to go once again to the Bitcoin dominance, because this reflects how the altcoins might behave. And if you are trading altcoins just to obtain more Bitcoin, then this chart is very relevant to you. Of course, you will already know with my past video I did said that this potentially, or at least technically speaking, could be very bearish and could be going down. And the main reason, of course, number one, the breakout or the breakdown for the 20 EMA, which did behave as a potential, well, has a resistance right there, and kept continue going back down. Of course, we also have this EMA cross. It's a very important, the 20 and the 50, and I did mention that once we broke this well, support level, the support box around here, we actually retested once here and then kept going back down. Now guys, having said this, it's pretty evident that we have kind of this formation. It could be potentially a descending wedge, and of course you know what this means. Also in the RSI you can see that there is this downtrend and there's a supporting here, so potentially we could break to the downside. But if we were to break to the upside, potentially we could have this consolidation phase and then actually go back up. And the reason I'm still considering a movement of this type to the upside, at least in the Bitcoin dominance, is first of all, also if we take a look at the stochastics, we're almost crossing back up, so that could be a potential sign that the bullish, or at least the bearish momentum for the Bitcoin dominance is over, and we could enter a consolidation phase to actually keep continuing going up. And one of the reasons that I'm still expecting this is because, again guys, fundamentally there's not a lot of momentum with altcoins, or at least right now there's not a lot of good headlines. Most of them are either negative or most of them are neutral, and there's no real highlight in any altcoin. Really, if you think about it, most of the relevancy right now is still on Bitcoin. Most of the news are Bitcoin focused, and now that we are kind of waiting or getting prepared for this Bitcoin halving, I think that the altcoins are gonna still bleeding, at least in Bitcoin terms. Potentially we could still go down. As I mentioned, there's a lot of technicals pointing that we could potentially retest one of the previous supports, but having said this, I think it is a possibility that we actually continue going up, potentially even to the 80% Bitcoin dominance. And the reason again is all this preparation for the next halving, which is in May 2020. Well, in any case guys, that was it for the technical analysis. We are still in a consolidation phase, so price movement is actually a little bit slow. But let's take a look at some of the headlines because they are very interesting. New York District Court postpones Telegram Stone hearing to 2020. The United States District Court for the Southern District of New York has postponed their hearing regarding the Securities and Exchange Commission's injunction filing against Telegram Open Network and its Gram token to February 18-19, 2020. It is ordered that defendants shall not offer, sell, deliver, or distribute grams to any person or entity until the conclusion of the hearing scheduled by the court for February 18 and 19, 2020, except upon further order of the court or agreement of the parties. At the hearing, any party may move the court for the continuation or dissolution of this order. Recently, the SEC has claimed that not only did Telegram violate the US securities laws during its initial coin offering, but it is also seeking a preliminary injunction to prevent Telegram from further violations. And guys, I would like to hear your opinion on Ton and on Telegram in this specific scenario, because I did mention in my past videos when talking about Telegram is that if there's a project and if they're serious about that project, they will try their best to abide with the current legislation, with the current laws, and they of course will try not to do any sketchy things. But of course this is a high profile company. Telegram is a very high profile app, so it's gonna be very interesting to see where this ends up. Fidelity Investments fully rolls out crypto custody service, exec says. American financial services company Fidelity Investments has fully launched its cryptocurrency custody service. Abigail Johnson, CEO of Fidelity Investments, revealed the development in an interview with the Financial Times published on October 18. Johnson said that the company is ready to roll out its crypto custody business following a year-long preparation and accumulation of clients. There are people out there with significant amounts of wealth in cryptocurrencies, probably Bitcoin, and they're looking for somebody to hold those coins for them, because in the event of their passing, which is going to happen at some point or another, you've got to have a plan to be able to get those coins to somebody else. And guys, this seems again a news about adoption, a news about these huge companies that they need to modernize because they recognize that there's this huge thing called Bitcoin, or this huge thing called cryptocurrencies right now. And I think it's totally good that these companies are starting at least getting their feet wet in this industry, not only because they have the reputation, but because they also can give a good name to this industry. Next Bitcoin halving may not lead to bull market, says Bitmain CEO. Jihan Wu, co-founder and CEO of Chinese mining giant Bitmain, believes that next Bitcoin block reward halving may not lead to a bull market, but the coin's price will grow in the long term. Per the report, Wu explained that the crypto market moves in cycles, and this time the next bullish phase may not start after the halving. He is also confident that in the long-term perspective, crypto enthusiasts should invest in mining hardware, adding, "There are many uncertainties, but now is a good time to invest in crypto mining. If I were a miner, I would not stop mining but continuing to invest in mining equipment. We are currently in a short-term correction of price. Having a long-term perspective is significant. If Bitcoin's price remains unchanged after halving, the efficiency of existing equipment must be improved to balance efficiency and computer power." And guys, it's very interesting to see that someone, or at least an influencer which is in this company like this, says that the price might not increase with the Bitcoin halving. I have already said my thoughts. I still think that we might tank before that in preparations, but we even saw it with the Litecoin halving. Just before that happened, the price went up dramatically, and then of course it correct back to its normal state. But I think, and I still believe, that it will take an impact, and the reason is because it's psychological. I don't think it's gonna really mean, because I've already explained myself regarding the current demand is not the same as the current supply. Craig Wright: either I'm Satoshi Nakamoto or he plagiarized me. Australian computer scientist and tech entrepreneur Craig Wright has asserted that Satoshi Nakamoto, the author of the Bitcoin white paper, plagiarized him. Either I am Satoshi or Satoshi plagiarized me. You can make the choice. I don't really care, because he actually took whole paragraphs from my LOM. So it's either me or I don't really care if you like it. It is worth noting Wright has continuously claimed that Satoshi Nakamoto is the alias for the partnership between him and his late business partner Dave Kleeman, the entity entirely responsible for inventing Bitcoin. After Kleeman's death, Wright began arguing that he is actually Satoshi Nakamoto. And guys, we have talked about Craig Wright before. I already gave my opinions. I really want to know what you think about it, because I don't know, at this point it seems kind of dumb, and to be honest, I don't even have more comments for these guys, so I do really want to know what you think about this. Well, in any case guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, and only if you did, mind subscribing and also push that like button. And just as usual, just before I go, I would like to remind you all, stay smart, stay bold, but most important of all, stay cheeky. Take care guys.